The volcanic origin of Icelandic soils is one of the primary factors driving the association of sheep grazing and extensive soil erosion in Iceland. Soils are what sustains ecosystems. Without soils, no vegetation can grow. The susceptibility of soils to erosion depends, of course, on their characteristics, like their texture or their cohesion, but also on the presence of vegetation that protects them against the erosive forces of wind and water. To talk about soil erosion in Iceland, we have Ólafur Arnalds, professor at the Agricultural University of Iceland.
Land degradation is a global issue. A severe form of land degradation is caused by soil erosion, the removal of soils from the surface by wind and water. Undisturbed Icelandic soils are very fertile by nature. They develop in volcanic materials and are rich in their natural state. However, these soils lack cohesion, especially soils close to the most active volcanic areas. They are therefore easily blown or washed away when they are exposed. This is why maintaining a protective vegetation cover is of vital importance, especially in areas like Iceland. Grazing by sheep prevents the regeneration of birch forests and willows, which once provided many of the most fragile soils with protective cover. Further heavy grazing can contribute to the formation of bare ground patches that accelerate soil erosion. In fact, soil erosion has caused large-scale ecosystem degradation in Iceland, and it is still one of the most pressing environmental issues of the country. The condition of many Icelandic ecosystems is often poor, with large areas being barren deserts, in spite of the moist climate. Many landscapes in Iceland are dominated by active erosion processes. An erosion form that catches the eye is the rofabarð. These erosion forms are just one of many active erosion forms that occur in Iceland and are typical of areas near the active volcanic zone. Rofabarðs can also be perceived as remnants of the previously vegetated surfaces. Desert surfaces in Iceland are somewhat stable, collapsed states of the land. Yet their nature varies immensely. Many of the desert lands are related to human use. For example, Biskupstungnaafréttur in the central Iceland was forested up into the 17th century, but now is barren as a result of clear-cutting and intensive grazing. Ecosystem degradation is often aided by unfavorable climate events or volcanic eruptions, after the resilience of the ecosystems have been reduced by long-lasting land use. There are, of course, areas of naturally occurring deserts at high elevations, and also deserts formed by glacial river outbursts and volcanic eruptions, but that's another story. Bare soils and desert surfaces in Iceland are also unstable because of the action of frost. With sub-zero temperatures, the water in the soil freezes. The formation of ice crystals, called needle ice, on the ground is especially detrimental to plant establishment as seedlings are pushed out of the soil by the ice needles. The unstable surface is thus a hostile environment for new plants to colonize. Grazing of poorly vegetated areas can completely halt plant establishment and soil development. Trampling also impedes the formation of biological crusts, which are essential to prevent needle ice formation and to provide nutrients and safe sites to new plants. The formation of soils is a very slow process. When the soil has eroded away, it is very difficult to bring it back, and it takes a long time. The soil is a vital resource for the use of the land. It must be taken good care of.
Obviously, soil erosion is an environmental problem not unique to Iceland. In many parts of the world, excessive grazing pressures have been associated with rangeland degradation and soil erosion. However, The particular ecological conditions of Iceland make these ecosystems particularly sensitive to sheep grazing, and there are many lessons to be learned from the Icelandic example. In the next section, we will discuss how human influences and sheep grazing practices have changed in Iceland throughout history.